Hello and welcome. You're shaking your head already. Have you made a stuffy uppy already, have you?
No.
No? Okay.
You've just done the opening again. You know what? Just go with it.
Yes.
Yep.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Underhive Lorekeepers YouTube. Hey, jazz hands. My hands are fading. Oh, they're vanishing. There we go, jazz hands. Your ones are staying around, mine aren't. So this is another episode in our series of videos where we are reviewing things that our Lord and Saviour Games Workshop is providing to us.
We've never done videos before, and now we've got 2 in like 4 days. So
I know, really just like jumping at it, like, full on. But I look, this video here is going to be about the LVO. So yeah, and obviously the massive miniature release that was at that. Again, this is something that we're doing so that we don't have to cram this into a podcast episode, and it is something that we are, I don't know, we're pretty excited about. I'm excited about it. Are you?
About the stuff announced at the LVO.
Yeah.
So it was yesterday.
Yeah.
I've told, I think, everyone I know about how excited I am over the announcements from the LVO. To the point of even my son was like, I don't care. I don't know who this emperor was, but I care not for his children, father.
Is the emperor Bluey? Because if the emperor's not Bluey, I don't care. He's golden, son. He's golden.
He is golden.
Yeah, no, to be honest with you, myself and Sam haven't actually spoken a fair bit. We've had a few text messages, so this is pretty raw for us as well. So we'll be going through and just perusing and coming up with some ideas and so forth. Now, the idea is that, we are a Necromunda podcast, Necromunda YouTube show. So we want to bring this back to Necromunda, obviously, as well. But we accept the fact that there's going to be a few things here that are just never going to make it to the planet unless they are either time warped or, dropped in via Dreadclaws. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge.
That could be the next book. You just imagine this House Orlok gang, or these Goliath being like, we the toughest. And this one Emperor's Children Marine comes out and just is like, I'm about to ruin your day.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to ruin your day and love it.
And just so we're clear, I'm not going to kill you, though. That's the worst bit for you.
No one is going to die for a very long time. It's like,
exactly.
You, bring me the nipple clamps. Let's do this.
He's already got a retinue of like servants around him. Just like, I'm with this guy. He's the number 1, 2, and 3 best person on this planet right now.
But
at the coffee again already.
Yeah. Honestly, man. And yeah, some people have sort of said like it's weird that you drink while recording, and it's like
I've lost my drink.
Yeah. When we first did the episode for our Patreon, sort of saying, "Hey, we're going to be getting into this," I was like, I mentioned a couple of times, I felt weird because I had like a bottle of water and I wanted to drink the water, and a bunch of people were just like, just drink the water, dude. Like, who cares?
Just drink the water. It's fine.
Just do it. I want to have one of those like beer helmets.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah,
but clearly have bottles of water in it.
I'd gear up like I was like part of the Astra Militarum, right? And then have like a little camelback over the side. I'd like, in my little pouch up here, I'd have a spare chocolate bar or something. And that's it. I'll start eating on camera. Yeah. That'll be my life. Yeah.
It's all well and good until I have a foot-long sub and I'm like,
Do you know what? If we get to that point, we've either made it or we've failed so hard that nobody's watching. Yeah, nobody's even watching. We're just like, you know what? I'm going to eat a 7-course meal on camera. So be it. I'll become like some famous South Korean podcaster or not podcaster, a videographer or whatever. Yeah.
But we are here to talk about the LVO.
Yeah.
And
let's not derail.
we are going to talk about the minis being released, and we are starting with. In fact, I'm picking where we start because this first announcement is something I want so bad. And
Yeah, I can't wait for the High Elves either.
no, it is a character by the name of Minka Lesk. In this particular way, Captain Lesk, and her veteran command squad named Hell's Last. Like this, oh, just look at it. Like there's Lesk in the middle, and
Yeah.
I didn't realize. I've seen the miniature. There was another miniature on of Captain Lesk done, I think, a couple of years ago, and
yeah.
but this
I think it was
squad-
like an anniversary. Well, not
Yeah.
an anniversary, but it was like a Warhammer Collections one, which
Yeah.
I think these are going to be as well. They're not. I don't think they're like going to be Codex legal. But
no,
anyway, sorry,
they're not. No,
cut you
they're
off
going to
as
have
I
a
always do.
legend rules for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm telling you now, I am getting these miniatures in the Necromunda 26.
Oh, for sure.
Like
for sure.
just
Yeah.
just look at them. That commissar just looks like such a dick.
I was
Like-
going to say when I looked at him, I actually had one of our friends send me the picture of the commissar before I'd even looked at it, and all I could think is he looks like a proper bar steward.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
he looks horrible. And the fact he's got an axe. Like I can see. I don't know enough about the lore of this particular character or this command squad or so forth, but he does look like the type of bloke who's going to go, yeah, I've got to execute you for cowardice, but I'm going to do it with an axe and not a bolt pistol because that's just who I is. You
Well,
know?
it's a fella by the name of Commissar Shand, which,
Okay.
I don't know who Commissar Shand is, but the axe just, yeah, in my opinion, the axe makes it.
Yeah, definitely.
Like
definitely.
then you've got the Confessor with the standard, you have the melter weapon, and then the veteran trooper there with the sort of tunic top and the hell gun. Like
Right, so again, this is showing my ignorance about Lensk and her squad. That tunic top, am I seeing like a tartan pattern on that? Are we looking at like a Scottish?
yeah, it
sort
looks
of-
almost like apparently Cadians are Scottish now, which I'm a huge
No.
fan of.
There is a guard regiment that is. I can't remember the name of them, but they do wear like kilts and all that kind of get up and so forth, and they look really cool. But I don't know their names. If you do know, please pop it. Or Sam, if you can find it for me right now, that'd be great. But I don't know. As soon as I saw that miniature,
The
I
Finret
instantly
Highlanders.
I'm thinking that, but I'm also thinking no. But I'm not 100% sure. But look, the picture that we're on at the moment, then this is a detail that I absolutely love, is the veteran with the melter gun. He has had some seriously bad days at work.
Yeah.
Like the detail on the scarring on his face is just perfect. It is the type of head that you just go out of your way to get because it just it carries so much character with it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
So, yeah, no, a beautiful command squad, nonetheless. But they all hold a place within Necromunda as well.
Oh,
Definitely.
dude. Like,
Yeah.
I'm seeing these as veterans. I'm seeing them as, let's be honest, after our last video, Venators. I'm seeing them as bad zone
Of course.
enforcers. I'm seeing them as so many different things. And you're an absolute fool if you think that these can't immediately make their way through to Necromunda.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. I really love is it the preacher, the confessor?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm totally for that miniature because it looks like crazy religious enough without being like wildly over the top.
Yeah.
So it's almost like it could fit in any sort of environment, any sort of background.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
100%, man.
Yeah. Yeah. No, This is a very, very cool command squad. Even Lensk herself is begging to be house greened, you know what I mean? Or house grimed,
Yeah.
whatever you want to pronounce it, and just being converted more into a pompous
The
style
power
of
sword, the
command.
bolt pistol, like
Yeah.
the
power sword
attitude.
itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, the power sword itself is so ostentatious. You know,
Yeah.
it's like this curved, beautiful looking blade. It's just she's just saying, and even the commissar as well is definitely like if you paint that model differently, and you put a bit more nonsense onto it, a little bit of extra gubbins and a few extra things that make it look like he's more nobility rather than a practical soldier, then that crowbars itself nicely into once again into House Green.
Replace the power axe with like a staff of office or a walking cane, something like that. It's like not necessarily a weapon, but a tool almost.
They used to in the military. They have them. They're called. I think they're called yardsticks.
The yardsticks are the riding crops.
Yeah, something like that. So yeah, it's just like I don't even carry a weapon. I have bodyguards. I have things that do that for me.
I use this to hit the person that's going to kill you.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. I guess we'll move on to our next one though. We don't want to get too bogged down.
Yeah.
Our next one is
this
assassin.
Glorious gal here.
Yes, yeah. Beautiful assassin. I'm trying. Did you have the name for her?
Yes, she is Meleneth Witchblade. And she's actually a buddy of one of the greatest characters to ever come out of the Old World or Warhammer Fantasy or anything like that. And now Age of Sigmar, Gotrek Gurnisson, where she spent a large amount of time trying to kill Gotrek and couldn't. And they basically became friends from what I've been told.
Okay.
But, dude, like, okay. What are you doing with this miniature?
Oh, mate, look, I instantly see, okay, it's easy to go the Escher pathway for it, right?
Yep.
But I actually see this as a bounty hunter straight away. And it's the movement of the miniature. That's what I think they've done so beautifully here. I think sometimes with Warhammer miniatures, and especially Old World, you can get a little bit limited by the weapons on the miniature and so forth. And you have to then bring something else to life, and that is the movement. Do you know what I mean? And that's what this miniature has for me. I would do a head swap and put something with a few bionics and maybe a bionic eye, maybe, like a respirator rebreather type of thing.
Yeah.
But beyond, I really wouldn't touch the dynamic of the miniature, the way it's lunging forward so much. So maybe that small throwing knife or whatever would be replaced by a power sword or even a maul. Like she's like ramming the maul into the face of her opponent.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that's where I see this miniature straight away as a bounty hunter.
Dude, I would go the Escher route, right? Except I would go the extreme of it. Remove the fist. That's a little Orlock for my taste. Remove that.
Yeah.
Put maybe have like some scales or something coming down the front of her. Whack a chem synth on her and a needle pistol. But then I'd go your idea, the rebreather. But then have a bunch of tubes coming down. And remember in the Escher episode we mentioned the Ashaki chem warriors.
Oh, wow.
Do her up as a chem warrior, like just hopped up on
so cool.
combat drugs and like just an absolute murder machine where she basically just slams on the chem synth, her body floods with these combat drugs, and she's just ripping and tearing. Like I would basically run her probably as a gang queen in an Escher gang or a Venator with an Escher gang legacy.
Yeah. Oh, do you know? You mentioned that straight away, and I've now want to change my idea. I see this as a death maiden. You know what I mean?
Oh, dude, perfect.
Replace that
Perfect.
head and the movement. Do you know what I mean? That's supposed to be what so the Death Maidens are almost like, supernaturally quick. It's just like, whoa, 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 what am I fighting here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that miniature poses that, but almost maybe replace the left hand with the claw, rather than like pointing a weapon. She's sort of like leaning forward and about to grab at her opponent. I reckon that would look really cool. And then like a blade held in sort of the backhanded style of this miniature, but a very distinctive Escher blade or something like that. Even
Nice.
the way what's his name holds his chainsaw, Titus. So sometimes Titus. So you could put a chainsaw in that hand, held in that backward sort of fashion, but the claw grabbing at the opponent.
Yes.
Oof.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
mate.
All right.
Gonna be dusting off the old Escher after this.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
There are a few things in this that are making me head towards Venators.
Yeah. Especially our next one that we're going to review. Oh, look, I'm joking. I don't know if it's going to be Venators for this.
You've
but
said that,
it's,
and now I'm like, probably could turn these into Venators. And
It's
the
possible.
next one here is the whole, I believe they're called the Soul Blights.
Yeah.
In Age of Sigmar, and no, the Barrow Kingdoms is what they are, and they're part of the Soul Blight Gravelords.
Okay, that's where I got the Soul Blights.
Yeah, like
messed up.
the I believe the skeleton heavy armies are called Death Rattles, and they're chock full of your whites, and if like I have a few thousand points of what in the back of the day were called vampire counts, and mine was always super heavy on the skeletons and the white kings and that sort of thing. And this whole range just in my mind harkens back to that very Evil Dead sort of you've got your skeletons and your ancient Baroque armor. It's all Bronze Age weapons and chest plates and the big winged helms. Dude, I love everything about them, especially this big boy. Look at that.
I saw somebody post a comment about it. What were they saying? It's the new proxy for Solar.
Lord Solar?
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
Leontis. That's
Leon,
it.
yeah, it's Leontis' skeleton.
Yeah, exactly. Or you just lop the head off. Oh no, because you can see his rib cage and everything. You know what? Maybe it's Macarius.
It's shredding season. He's getting ready for swimsuit season on the beaches of Cadia, and he's really wanted to sort of get his rig proper rigged.
Yeah, like really, really like shred.
Yeah,
like bad shred. So look, I mean, again, we're going to encounter some miniatures as we go through this review that are going to be pretty hard pressed to crowbar into Necromunda. But I think this one here, look, it has some good elements and components to it that you could definitely drag across into Necromunda. I think that, and for me, it's the simple things like the plumage off the helmet and so forth. The amount of movement you see off that part of the miniature is something that you can add to something else. Do you know what I mean? To help give it a bit of dynamic movement and so forth. And it's a small touch, but if you imagine the miniature without that, and suddenly you're looking at something that you're like, it wouldn't be the same. Do you know what I mean? If it just had a big winged helm, I don't think it would be the same with that little bit of movement just off the plumage of the helmet. Do you know what I mean? So, there's lots of cool bits on here. I think you could potentially like cherry pick some stuff from here to do on like an old school abandoned 30k Mechanicum stronghold or something like that has been dug up by some treasure hunters within Necromunda, and they found something very cool, something very funky, like even the shield and all the rest of it. But yeah, that's just...
You had an idea ages ago where it was basically I don't remember what episode it was, about like, and we actually touched on it again when we were talking about Edos Slagmist in our Dramatis Personae episode, and you originally mentioned archaeotech that would bring people back from the dead, basically turn them into zombies.
Oh, yeah. I do remember speaking about that, yeah.
That is something I think you could do with this new sort of skeleton arrangement, that turn them into maybe Rough Riders that got lost on a trading exercise. And, they ended up finding an archaeotech tomb, or they found a hive, or you can come up with something. And, just techno gubbins, or the Lord Solar gets a cyber eye, the horse gets a cyber eye, you get a cyber eye. But you could do some freaky deaky stuff with that, and basically turn them into sort of like automatons, almost like proper wasted away servitors. Turn them into a group of servitors.
Do you know what? I really like that idea, and I was thinking straight away. Okay, how do you really manipulate the horse? You know what you do with the horse? You get one of those green stuff rollers that make like cables and so forth.
Yes.
And you just fill all of that blank section with cabling. So you're not trying to put on the flesh, but you leave the skeleton of the horse face. So this thing is basically a skeleton that is still being run by the machines that have been running it since it was still alive. You know what I mean?
Perfect.
So even with the legs, you do it all the way down the legs. You don't have to have the volume of flesh that you would normally have on a normal horse, but you just fill up the spaces so it's not clearly bony. You know what I mean? You make it just like some madman at the Mechanicum, some mad vet from the Mechanicum has just gone crazy, putting all manner of pipes and cables and all the rest on it. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'm down with that for sure.
And that brings us to the next part of this release, and I'm telling you now, I need this. Like, I have a physical need for this. And it is this absolute monster. Look at that thing. The whole zombie dragon type dude. And that is Prince Vordry, the master of the Crimson Keep. And basically, he rides upon something called the Shordmare, Lord of Revenants, and it's it's a zombie dragon that it's basically just the worst of the worst. Like, and people are probably sitting there going, Spamuel, how are you going to turn this into Necromunda? And it's super simple. You take the rider off, all right? You slap that bad boy down in the middle of an Ash Wastes game. You give it just ridiculous stats, and you make it the big bad of the end of a campaign, right?
Yeah, okay.
And
I'm with you for that.
It is just, it ignores terrain. It just rips vehicles apart. Like, that thing to me screams, make me the bad guy at the end of your campaign where you've got proper gangs coming up against him. I mean, look at this thing.
Proper veterans who actually stand a chance. It's like, this isn't a level 1 gang.
No.
Okay, so you've ripped the rider off. What's the rider going to do? Just live in your bits box?
That is being turned into either, and you could actually, if you could put him on foot, or you could leave him on there. But you'd need a second one to put him on foot, because when you killed the monster, you still got to fight the rider. I would turn him into, and I'm really coming up with something crazy here, a vampire Spira.
Oh,
turn him into a Spira that has been infected somehow, or has gone over the edge, and to put him in a custom Spira suit, and basically have him as trying to, maybe he's one of those Hellmoors that got kicked out or found new gods, and is trying to raise an army of Scavies or Muties or Renegades to take over Primus. And look at him. Just look at him.
Yeah, okay, I've got to get a close-up of that image. Yeah, right. Wow. That
want
is...
it bad.
That's a cool. That's actually an amazing looking miniature, isn't it? Do you know what I really love on him is the heraldry almost sort of thing that's coming up from his back.
Yes.
Like the beaten metal of the dragons. Do you know what I mean? Like I could see that on a gang fortress. I could see that as a gang symbol. You could also see it as like on a like an army badge for an Astra Militarum army as well. So they call themselves the Dragons or something like that. And this is like, that's their army emblem. So that's something you could steal and pop on there. Oh, mate. Geez, you got me thinking quite a fair bit about that actual miniature. I will say though, and it's been going on for the better part of 10 years now, the quality of miniatures that are coming out from GW, especially from the fantasy side of things, mate, the last time I played against a zombie dragon, I think they used to refer to it as the flying cabbage way back in the day.
Yeah.
It was this big, ugly green thing. If I came up against that in a game of Warhammer way back in the day, I would have just gone, do you know what? The table is yours, sir.
You win.
Because that you win. I don't have a chance because emotionally,
I surrender and
morally,
volunteer
I
for
can't
treason.
kill it. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I think they've. I don't know if we grabbed this image, but they did have the image of it with the rider off, and it's just a take, and it's
just a monster.
Beautiful.
It's a monster.
Just a beautiful miniature. But anyway, we'll move on to our next one that we did grab an image of, and that was
the vampire.
the vampire. Yeah, the vampire on the horse. Yeah, I've lost my. This one here.
It's a lord on nightmare steed.
This miniature, you don't have to do anything with to crowbar into Necromunda at all. This is somebody or something that has been sent out to the Ash Wastes and now is making a return as some sort of almost mythical, supernatural type being.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And is coming back to wreak its vengeance on the hives or the gangers that sent it out there. And it found a horse, maybe put that lost Rough Rider patrol. It's found one of their horses, put some beautiful brand new armour on it, but the horse itself has suffered from being in the ash waste, and so that's what explains the face away. But the rest of the body is, horsey enough. I as soon as I see this, I actually think to myself, what is it? The Headless Horseman. You know what I mean?
Yep. Let's just remove the head. Done.
Remove the head, and just maybe it was a noble that they decapitated, but the cybernetics and bionics in the body kept the body alive, and so the conscience was saved deep within inside, and so this noble's never been able to recover their actual brain, so they're now a mishmash of artificial intelligence and a saved personality. Do you know what I mean? So
you're describing your Van Sar gang.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. But you could do it. You could do a Headless Horseman for Necromunda. That would be so cool.
I mean,
and run it as like some terrifying thing that turns up once in a campaign and just butchers its way through.
Like a murder Lobo, a murder cyborg Lobo that's been lobotomized.
Yeah. Yes,
Lobotomized.
Lobotomized. But for me, it's still got a sentience of its old personality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's almost corrupted the AI that existed within them as to why the head can't be there. Or even replace the head completely with a mechanical head. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's sick.
And like a mechanical skull. And so it becomes almost like a Death Rider type, flaming skull type gear to it. But anyway, well, I guess we'll move on to our next one because
that's it. Type.
Yes.
Next up, you can take this one.
Oh, yeah. I thought we were going to skip. No, we're not going to skip it. It's the High Elves returning back to the old world, which is,
buddy.
It's a benefit for me because one of my oldest opponent that I play against, Steve, who has been on our podcast before, he plays High Elves and also plays Dwarves as well. So there's some obviously some serious conflict issues within inside of himself there, but I've played against High Elves so many times in Warhammer Fantasy battles that they just became like a second nature for me to fight against. They expected the high level of movement and the what is it? They always strike first. The speed of the Azurian, I think it was called, was their special rule. So, I'm really happy to see them return because it means that Warhammer: The Old World is getting more and more flesh to its bones.
Yeah.
And those of you who have not dabbled in it yet, who are old school fantasy players who have said, "Oh no, I'm not going to go near it," do yourself a favour, get involved with it. It is a very, very good system of rules. There's a lot going on, but my God, it's a very good system of rules. It almost has as much rules as Necromunda sometimes. In the few games I've played, I've been like, wow, we're taking a lot of notes. But it is a fantastic system. But I guess what we want to talk about here is the two new miniatures that are coming from that range. And that is the
First off, the Lord of Schrace.
Yes. Do you know where Schrace is?
It's a small European nation. I believe near the former Soviet Union.
Oh wow, you know your elf lore. Well done.
I know a lot about pointy ears. A lot of people don't realise that.
So this miniature, I think, when we sort of did a quick little review, myself and Sam, over the miniatures without going too much in depth to them, I think it is quite feasible to get this into Necromunda, but look, it's... I'm not going to say it's a stretch, but it's not the easiest one to... it's not like Lence's Command Squad.
Yeah.
But I think you could have this as a very over-the-top Necromundan general or noble person who has decided that they want to base themselves off some ancient mythological, fighting race from way back yonder. Do you know what I mean?
Even easier. Those Aranthian army. Remember the ones that came up from under the tunnels? They were described as very ostentatious armor, long helms, that sort of thing. Whether you replace the axe with a pistol, or you just get a pistol on the hip, it's a very over the top type thing. It's clearly in armor a lot more intricate than your average gang is going to be in. That's how I'd do it. Like you want either a simple weapon swap or a very simple kit bash of adding some sort of technological bit to it, and I think you can get this in very, very easily.
Yeah, and do you know what makes me want to use this type of miniature is that giant bloody lion's head on it. I think that just looks so cool. It's so cool, and it's stuff that you could see members of an imperial noble house wearing, like just in their day to day. Oh yeah, this is like my going out dress. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I always carry this huge giant lion head on my shoulder. Oh yeah, what does it mean to you? I don't know. I've had it manufactured and grown.
It's been passed down from generation to generation to generation. I believe it's an ancient Terran Leone. Do you mean lion? No. See, this is the difference between your kind and mine. We know what a Leone is.
Even though he'd be lying about it.
He would be lying. He's also not a real noble.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
Yes.
All right, let's move on to our next high elf. It's Ishaya Vess, the Sentinel of the Silent Isles. She's got a trident.
There's not enough tridents.
No, I'm very much a big believer on that. We are in a world where tridents aren't seen as a formidable weapon anymore. Poor Poseidon, he tried to lead the way and everybody just laughed at him.
Aquaman's really letting the team down.
Yeah, exactly. Look, this miniature here, I think, again, is something that, with the Captain of Schrace, is something that you most definitely can work into Necromunda. I think the shield and the... what's an arrow holster called again?
Quiver?
A quiver. Just complete word blank there. those are probably the difficult things. You would have to see the plastics and see what it's like, and
Depends
you
on
know,
the way
how
it's put together.
Yeah, exactly. I think things like big pointed shields like that, they lose the touch with 40k. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you want a big shield, it needs to be like a blade guard, a Space Marine blade guard, a big mama jummer over the top, ridiculous looking thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Or it needs to be, you know, like the Vansar and their shields. They look really 40k-ish. They're really sci-fi-ish. When you just have a regular shield, it kind of can't work. Do you know what I mean? In saying that, there's lots of Imperial agents and so forth who run them. But this miniature here, I really like the head, and again, the movement in this miniature. So it's something that I think you can definitely work into Necromunda in some way, shape, or form.
With simple head swap. You stick with the clothing, the ostentatiousness, the scales there, the knee-high boots. This is an Escher of of some note. She is not your average thing. You know what? I'd keep the bow if I can. I'd lose the shield, and I'd make her a gang queen who holds very close ties to her former life as a wild runner.
And keep the trident.
Oh, you're definitely keeping the trident.
Yeah. Definitely.
Power trident.
Cool. Power trident.
Perfect.
Why is there no power tridents in 40k? If there is, please correct us. Who does?
Power?
I don't think
no, there isn't.
No, I don't think there is. But if there is, I'd love to see one.
Yeah, there's power spears and that in.
Oh, definitely.
Horus
I
Heresy.
think the White Scars run them even.
Yeah.
At one stage, I ran them
Like
in
power
even 40K.
glaives and that.
Yeah. That's close to a trident. Anyway, we will not dally too long on the High Elves because we have, I think, another release from the
Old World.
Yes, it is a man beast.
Oh, buddy. I have a serious bone to pick with Games Workshop about this one. So, This week we've had the Abhuman supplement with the additional rules for Venators, and then the sort of fury that was the Beastman options in that. In our last video we did mention that the points were likely going to be changed. They were. Beastmen have been made more expensive, but in my opinion, they are still absolutely worth it, and there is a Beastman gang in my future, but this guy right here, you get that Felgor Ravagers kit, and then you get this guy. That is my whole gang. Oh, and a Minotaur for like a stand-in for an Ogryn. But that is my whole gang. This guy right here is my Venator gang leader, who is a Beastman with the Psyker upgrade. And then the Psyker that's in the Felgor kit. I can't remember if you can turn champions into Psykers as well, but he'd be like the acolyte of this guy.
Because this guy looks very old and crusty.
Oh, dude.
He's
so
seen
good.
way too much. That's why his eyes are covered. He's like, I don't need this anymore.
Yeah.
I've seen everything that I could possibly see.
Oh, and then his little friend. Oh.
I was just about to ask you, what do you think is the best part of this miniature?
The little friend.
It's definitely the creepy little weirdo on the stump.
I'm a sucker for a little friend.
Yeah. Definitely the same too. Any little familiars? There was a Warhammer Plus or Warhammer TV miniature that came out that had a couple of little familiars with it.
The Chaos Sorceress?
So good. So good. I was so desperately wanted to get them, but I chose the other miniature. I can't remember which one it was. It was either Azrak or the
Kazakin?
The Kazakin. Yeah, it must have been that one. Whichever one it was, I had to choose the other one because it was better. But this little, take away the tree stump, right? Get rid of his little tree stump and put a little bit of a broken part of a hive underneath him.
Yep.
And you round the corner, you haven't got a pistol drawn or anything like that. You just round in the corner, you're just looking around, and you see this thing with its head cocked to one side, bright blue, red, whatever colour, glowing eyes staring at you. And you're just like, I'm checking out. I'm not going to this part of the hive. This is dumb.
I quit. I'm out. What do you mean you quit? You're the gang leader. Nope, not anymore. I'm out. I'm joining the guard. I'm not dealing with this. And you know what this little fella needs? He needs a robotic eye. He needs a bionic eye.
Oh, yes.
Because that would make him super creepy. Yeah, I love him. I love him. I love him. I love both of them.
Yeah.
I'm getting these for the Beastman gang. I will eventually do.
No, look, the little fella is my favourite part of this. It is proper terrifying fantasy, and that's what I love about Necromunda. You can get terrifying fantasy and slam it into Necromunda, and you have terrifying sci-fi with just a few little bits and bobs added to them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm all for it. I'm with you as well. This miniature is deep fried gold.
Yeah.
But speaking of miniatures that can be crammed into Necromunda in the most aggressive and offensive way possible, is the big Mama Jumma robot.
Yes.
I've got so excited about this, I've actually forgotten its name. It's the
Thanatar
Calyx.
Yes.
What a name.
Oh,
And
buddy.
imagine saying that on Necromunda. Mate, don't go down there. They've got a Thanatar Calyx. Most gangers are just like, yeah, I've got a reclaimed autogun. I'm fine. Trust me.
Yeah.
Not knowing what a Thanatar Calyx is.
I have this reclaimed auto pistol and my faith in the Emperor.
Exactly.
Well,
it's always called or picking the wrong fights.
And as you can see in this one, he has a glorious fist weapon as well as what is, I'm told, a Solex pattern heavy las cannon.
Is that a heavy las cannon?
That is a heavy las cannon, and
Wow.
it says here it has enough power to spear right through the armor of a super heavy tank.
Holy Toledo.
Yeah. And that fist is called a Graviton Ram.
Wow.
So that is a bad day.
That is a bad day. Look, I think if I wanted to get this into Necromunda, I would do it in the most heinous way possible. Buy the miniature, build a miniature exactly as it is, paint it up in old AdMech colours, as, you know, Horus Heresy style, or Mechanicum back in the day, right?
Yeah.
And it is, you've uncovered a treasure vault of the Mechanicum that has been abandoned during the time of the Heresy.
Yep.
And this is the automated guard. So this thing is just, you've kicked it into life. And do you know what? Unless you've brought a super heavy tank, that super las cannon is going to melt literally anything that is within the target range, plus probably, 10, 15 metres around it as well.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
I love that. That's once again one of those, you've got proper big gangs, and at the end of the campaign, it's don't roll for who's coming. Roll d6, and they're the ones who show up, and then you get reinforcements every round because everyone is trying to get into this vault.
Yes, yeah. And then as soon as you kick down that door or you activated the defense system, people are expecting turrets and all this other stuff to pop up, and you're just like, oh, no. This was, you're going somewhere important.
All you hear is just this robotic voice going like, Thanatar online. And you're like, what? What was that? Oh no. Oh
Yes.
no.
Oh no, I think we've done the big stuffy uppy here.
The biggest of stuffy uppies.
Do you know, as cruel as it would be, you just like, as the arbitrator, you send this out and you're like, you know what, this is probably going to be your last or second to last fight of the campaign. So prepare to lose, blokes. Like, you're going to get hit by weapons that are going to force you to roll 3 or 4 times on the injury table. And pretty much until you roll a dead, I'm just going to like hit you with weapons that are so brutal, especially close combat stuff. Like that little pinchy pinch claw. Yeah, that pinchy pinches you. It's
you run that as power fist, or like it is everything is power, and then you can turn around and be like, all his weapons have a 6-up ammo save. Like, he might only get 1 shot off. The first guy being hit by the giant las cannon mega gun, like, you pop. If it hits you, you pop. Like, you're done.
Yeah, it's not like, I got good experience from that. I knew next time I come up against one of them. No, when you get hit by this, all your experience is gone.
Yeah, you're sending
you're-
little Billy forward because you're hoping little Billy's the one that gets hit with it. Because when little Billy pops, you pray that whoever is playing the Thanatar doesn't roll that 6-up ammo. Like
Yeah, exactly.
You're
Yeah.
praying, and then you've got that concussion ram or whatever that thing was. You got the
Yeah.
heavy bolter thing on this arm. Then you got the claws. Like, see, that's the one time I'd play that, and I'd never roll a jam, and I'd just be like, "Well, you've killed everyone."
Sorry, guys.
Yeah. Well,
But
sorry,
look,
everyone.
in saying that, the miniature's also a beautiful miniature as well. It's like
Yes.
terrifying.
Yes.
And I just love the work that's going into the Horus Heresy. It's just so good.
I actually have two of the other Thanatar that I use. I think I've talked about this before. I use them as Vindicators in my 30k. No, sorry, in my 40k Iron Warriors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's really cool.
But
What would you
yeah,
run this as?
a Predator. I would run this as.
It really feels like a downgrade for him. He
Really?
looks a lot meaner than a Predator.
No.
I guess if you replace the grab gun with like a quad las cannon. Oh no, dual las cannon,
Nah.
and then why not? That would be your
Yeah, run that as
sponsors.
the las cannon armed Predator. The heavy bolter on the heavy bolter sponsons. You'd
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
That's how I'd run it.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Respect. All right, let's move on to our next miniature, which is
The next one is
actually something close to my heart, which is the new. I think it's Lord Virulent. I think
it is the new
Lord of Poxes. Sorry.
Lord of Poxes from the Death
Yeah.
Guard. Oh
Now-
man.
This again is one of those ones that, ladies and gentlemen, we are not cramming this into Necromunda unless you're doing some serious conversion work. So, maybe at a very distant stretch with a lot of work and a lot of effort, a corrupted Ogryn of some description.
Yeah, and I know it's not Necromunda, but I would get this into my other love being Kill Team. And
Oh, of course.
for
yeah,
my
yeah.
Iron Warriors, I would Iron Warrior this guy
Oh,
up.
yeah. Yeah.
And I would run him as like a butcher, which is basically just a close combat monster with a two-handed weapon. Or, you could... yeah.
Do you know what?
could just
I
start
would
Death
run
Guard.
this. I would just put this in my Death Guard army.
Yeah,
So-
you have a Death Guard army.
I've got quite a big Death Guard army because when the Death Guard first came out, well, not when they first came out, when they came out at 8th edition, it was the first time for me that Chaos Space Marines had been done like the artwork.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So we look at them and you go, yeah, these things look gross. These things look horrible. And this, I think, is it's touching on the same aesthetic. I think it's a little bit different with that drabbed over cloak and all the rest of it. It sort of has a slightly different aesthetic to the current range, but it still fits in very nicely. I think it's a wonderful looking miniature, and it is going into my pile of shame just so that I have it. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I know that eventually I'll paint it, it'll fold itself into my Death Guard army, and I'll be content. And he got a tactical rock as well, which is a great thing.
Yeah, but he also just has that enormous, horrific sword. I love it.
Yeah,
I love
I really hope there's something cool for that sword, and it's not just like big chunk of angry metal. I've got to say the paintwork on that sword is just phenomenal as well. It really looks rusted, but not in a like a modern day realistic rust sort of look, but more in a futuristic sci-fi sort of rust. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? It just
100%.
it looks poppy. It looks a beautiful paint job on the sword, and the rest of the miniature as well. I really love that cloak. But we can't. We're not going to stay too long on miniatures that we can't crowbar into Necromunda, which
It's all of this next section.
it's all of the next section, unfortunately.
Oh, and it has
But-
been something that is coming for a long time, and that 40k players, especially 40k players of the Chaos variety, have been praying for a very long time. And It is this bad boy right here. It is the Emperor's Children Codex. Now, one of my first Chaos Space Marine armies was the Emperor's Children. And I had a very embarrassing game against you with my Emperor's Children, where I forgot that Feel No Pain wasn't a thing for the Emperor's Children Terminators anymore.
Yeah. Shout out to my brother for calling that out in front of
Yep,
you. That was
yep.
wonderful. Yeah.
But one of the greatest moments in my sort of 40k life was it was a apocalypse game we were playing, and we were at Steve's house, and it was all like the bad guys on one side, and Steve was sort of opposite me, and I had a character inside a rhino, and Steve with his Emperor's Pride Space Marines unleashed on this rhino, destroyed the rhino, and killed everyone inside the rhino except one. And this one has just been announced with a brand new miniature, and that is Lucius the Eternal. And Lucius in this game danced up and down that board untouchable. No one could kill him. It was the angriest I've ever seen Steve in my entire life. No one.
I do remember that because I was on his side as well.
Yeah, no one in my army had any ammunition. Remember, I couldn't hit anything. But Lucius the Eternal, this miniature is redonkulous. Like, he's
So
no
good.
longer that perfect warrior. Like, he always had the cut up face, but he still looked human. He doesn't look human anymore. He's gone. He's gone off the deep end.
This is a demon.
This is a demon in Space Marine form. The cuts, that tongue going all the way out. Obviously, that the lash that is in his old miniature was a small part of sort of his arm coming out of it. It is now this tendril, and it's insane. But the armor, everything. I'm not going to let us go on about this too much. But this...
No, let's crowbar him into Necromunda. How's he get there? How's Lucius the Eternal somehow being used in Necromunda? I'm going to cut you off there.
That's easy.
Oh, okay, go. You've actually got an answer?
Yep. So Necromunda is a planet that produces a lot of ammunition and weapons for the Imperial Guard, possibly even Space Marines. They obviously have the ability to produce bolters and bolter ammunition, as well as artillery, grenades, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And the artisans who make these weapons take great pride in their work. And so one of these bullets, or let's say a shell, is used and it is installed into a basilisk. Yeah. It gets fired, lands on Lucius, kills him dead. And the fellow who made the shell took great pride in what he does, and because of that, Lucius the Eternal then, because of Slanesh, takes over the body of the individual who killed Lucius. In this case,
who made the shell,
who created the shell. So they actually killed Lucius, and Lucius the Eternal takes over their body, becomes himself again, and is on Necromunda. Suck it, nerd.
That would be a terrifying experience, not only for...
It literally happens in a novel. That's not even an original idea. I stole that. A dude he makes grenades or a landmine, and it kills Lucius, and he is reborn on this, like, Forge world, and Lucius is so embarrassed. And he's like, I have to go and kill my entire warband now, because I can't have them telling anyone. That's how I died.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. I did not know that was canon for him. That is brilliant.
Yeah.
So, look, as I say, we can't harp on it. There is one thing I do want to mention about this miniature that's really, really important.
Yep.
That I think is probably going to get missed by a lot of people, but it's the first time in a long time we've got a brand new miniature of an Iron Hand. And it's wonderful to see. You know, I really love that they put the effort in to make sure that, you know, the loyalists do get a mention somewhere in this release. Well done, Games Workshop. Well done. Anyway, moving on. Let's have a look at our next
I'm
one.
disgusted in you. Yeah, okay. We have the new sort of champions and lords for the Emperor's Children, and
Yeah.
every single one of these things is just excess to the point of excess. They are excessive for the sake of being excessive. The armor, the chains, the weaponry, the body modifications, the mutation, everything about them just shows that they are all aiming to be the very pinnacle of what they physically can, and just look at them. Like these are the new lords.
Yeah,
the
new
Emperor's
commanders,
Children.
basically. I think they're... What are they? There's like three types. There's a Lord Exultant and...
Yeah, they're the Lord Exultants.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right. So, these miniatures, when I looked at these first time, they instantly said to me, they're covered in bits and bobs that they don't need to go into battle with.
Oh, God.
Do you know what I mean? And that, to me, is a beautiful aesthetic and a beautiful mindset to take Slaanesh on. They are going to be covered in nonsense and ridiculousness that they don't need. If you want to make a really nice comparison, go look at a World Eaters kit and go look at these new miniatures, and you will see there's this form, function, and practicality that exists within the new World Eater miniatures that is just the complete opposite for these Emperor's Children.
Yep.
They have just got nonsense on there. Even their armor trim, it's just like, you don't need that, mate.
No,
Like,
it's excessive for the sake of being excessive.
yeah, and it's wonderful. It's exactly what I think they should look like, and they're starting to get... Well, not starting to. This is the proper... their own proper aesthetic.
Yes.
You know, the Death Guard really have it. The Thousand Sons have it. The World Eaters have it. And now, finally, the Emperor's Children have this aesthetic that, you know, if you're not matching that across your whole army, then you need to do some conversions or some kit bashing, whatever the case might be, to get it to look like your commanders, get it to look like your Noise Marines and all the rest of the stuff that we're just about to look into. But look, I mean, we're not seeing these guys on Necromunda in any way, shape or form, unless it's coming in the form of Dreadclaw. So we'll move very quickly on to our next one, which is the
Lord Cacophonist.
I'm happy you had to go at that first.
Cacophonist.
Cacophonist, that's it.
No, Lord Cacophonist. Cacophonist. Cacophonist.
Like cacophony, but like...
obviously cacophony. The Lord
Yeah.
Cacophonist. Yeah.
Cacophonist, yes.
Why didn't you say that before I said cacophonist 16 times?
I don't know.
Yes,
Yeah,
I love him. He's got a boombox strapped to his back. He's got that very old school raptor looking helm, like maybe old school metal raptors where it's vividly said they would scream as they fell on their prey. That's what I'm seeing there.
Yeah, exactly. And like just Baby Shark on repeat for 16 hours in the Thunderhawk just to get all the other Noise Marines so angry. It's like, we're so upset with this. Speaking of Noise Marines, that is the next thing we're going to look at as well. So this is the new Noise Marine squad.
No, next up is not Noise Marines.
Right.
That's
apologies.
my
It's
fault.
the-
I actually moved them.
okay.
The Flawless Blades are the next one there. They're the basically heresy versions of the Palatine Blades, who were the elite swordsmen of the Emperor's Children during the Horus Heresy.
And interesting bit of trivia, the Palatine cluster was actually named after them.
Was it
wasn't,
really?
It was a joke. No, it was a joke.
Oh.
I have no idea. Well, surely the planet would be like virus bombed to nothingness if they went, we've named our main cluster of hives after an Emperor's Children elite unit. The Adeptus Terra would just be like, that's a naughty no-no. You need to find this now, don't you? You need to know.
A Palatine or Palatinus is actually a high-level official attached to imperial or royal courts in Europe since Roman times.
Oh, so they're just officials. They're not really sword fighters. Oh, that's nice. The
These
swords
are
more for
basically
just
the
display.
Emperor's Children version of tax accountants.
Ah,
Yeah.
right. Do you know what? I do remember one of the novels about Fulgrim where he was, he really wanted his elite troops who just destroys his Terminators, but he said, we can't go to war without our accountants.
Yeah.
And I was, don't quote me on it, but the line basically goes, accountants win wars. And I was like, that's fair enough, Fulgrim. That is fair enough.
Excellent point. Mighty Primarch of the Third Legion.
Yeah. Oh, look, again, another brilliant set of miniatures that really set their own shape, flavour, and aesthetic for what the Emperor's Children need to be. And just the swords alone are just Mickey Mouse.
But the almost gaunt, androgynous style look, the almost conical skulls, that guy there with the excessive hair, and you can see the body modifications. They remind me of the what are they called? I've mentioned them 600 times from Hellraiser.
I don't know. You always ask me this, and I always forget. It's stuff that just doesn't want to live inside my head at all. But I think these throw back quite a fair bit. We'll come back to your point in a second. But
Cenobites.
Cenobites.
Okay. They remind me of the Cenobites from Hellraiser.
Right. I don't even know what they are. As always, I don't know what they are. Then you show me an image, I'm like, oh yeah, and then I forget. So I like these because, I don't know, they've got a very old school type of vibe and aesthetic to them. Do you know what I mean? It really looks like somebody's whipped out the miniatures from the 80s and early 90s and gone, okay, how do we modernise these up and how do we take them into, the 2020s? And they've done a beautiful job. Fantastic. Like, I can't fault these miniatures at all. I think seeing these on the tabletop, painted up, you would be very impressed with them. Even just the simple thing of the little combat druggy type thing sitting on top of their backpack. You're like, that's cool. It's so obvious and it's so like.
But it's the
marked.
bare arms, the torsos with armor missing. They're clearly out there to experience, to feel everything they can within the battlefield, because they want to take it all in. It's all about absorbing that experience and that feeling for them.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I
Totally agree with it. Yeah.
I love them.
All right. Now what are we going on to?
Now we're going to talk about what you wanted to talk about, which is the sort of like the drum and bass version of Space Marines. It is the new Noise Marines. Beautiful.
Oh. Executed perfectly, I think.
Yep.
Again, we're not going to try and get them into Necromunda because they are so centric to the Emperor's Children, to Slaanesh, that I think we'd just be waffling on trying to get them crammed into Necromunda in some way, shape or form. But the fact that they've brought back all the noise weapons and they really have such a beautiful aesthetic about them, a really nice individual look to them as well.
Yes.
Like this unit on the tabletop is going to be brilliant. And my understanding is that they're going to be a 6-man unit, which is...
I think everything in this army should be in groups of 6.
I think so too, but I mean, if the Noise Marines do come in 6s, like, high five to the... high five to the what are they called? The cult numbers.
Yeah, perfect.
Beautiful. All right, our next unit we'll move on to is the
Emperor's Children Marines.
The Marines. There's 2 types here. There's Infractors and Tormentors. So, what have we got up there? The Infractors, I think, are the first one.
The Infractors are the close combat ones.
Yeah. These ones are very interesting, I find, actually. Like, they've actually just looks like just regular blades and bolt pistols.
Yeah, they seem very. They're they're almost assault marines without the jump packs. Like
Yeah.
knives, pistols, like they want to get up close. They want to get right up into the feeling of war. Once again, they don't want to take you out from a distance with a bolt gun. They want to cut the veins in your arms so you drop your weapon. Then they hamstring you so you drop down. So they can suck in the despair from your body right before they kill you. Like they want to savor every moment in battle.
Yeah, and I think, without knowing too much about them, but the lack of power weapons, the lack of power fists, any other really funky sort of weapons in there, makes it look like their close combat fighting is like proper close combat fighting.
Yes.
It's not just like, I'm going to use a power sword to slice you open. I want to feel the blade, which is a bit dark, but, we are talking Emperor's Children. And I guess we can move on to the Tormentors from there, which, for use of a better term,
they're your bog standard Marines. They're a tactical squad.
Yeah, they're tactical Marines of the Emperor's Children, which is, you would see that within their armies for sure.
Yeah.
Just like the Thousand Sons have, just like the Death Guard have, they're going to have lads running around like they're fighting in the old days back in 30k.
Yep. Yep.
This is what they know and have trained to fight like. So this is what they're going to be doing. So again, beautiful kit. My understanding is that you make both Tormentors and Fractors from the same kit.
The kit there allows you to build both of them, the Tormentors and the Infractors.
So from saying that, there's going to be a lot of bits left over, right?
Oh, hell yeah.
Either way. So,
you take that, you take your standard Legionnaires box, and just like all of these modern kits, they have so many extra bits that your bits box is just going to be bursting.
Yeah, and I think, like whips and plasma pistols and all that kind of stuff, this is where our Necromunda players will benefit, is that you'll be able to get that stuff in there. And if you've got Slaneshi Colts and so forth, a lot of the icons and symbols that may not get used on the miniatures, hit your bit box, and then finally get thrown into that,
perfect,
Goliath Slanesh gang.
Yep. And that is it. That's the LVO review.
LVO. I don't think it was anything
good.
Really worth talking about. Yeah.
We're forgetting something.
No, we are forgetting something. We've talked about the Jewel in the Crown. There was something else. Oh, wait, it must be nothing. If we can't remember, it must be nothing.
So, I guess if everyone has enjoyed... Obviously, we're going to talk about the Necromunda release. Nomads players rejoice, because Tribes of the Wastelands is coming. And this is the book that is giving the Nomads the House of Treatment. And one great thing about sort of the preview, that this book was described as being told about the history and culture of the Nomads, but from the perspective of someone who is not a nomad. And that intrigues me, because I'm imagining this David Attenborough style documentary.
Of course,
Like, as you see here, the nomads travel in lines of 4 across the deserts on their Helamites to hide their numbers. And oh no, one of them is skinning my face. I'm so excited. This book brings some cool stuff.
I am itching at the bit for it. I can't wait. I think we mentioned on an episode recently, or maybe it was just you and I just talking about what the next release was going to be, because we had the squats come out recently, and then I was like, and you actually said Ash Waste, the Nomads. The Nomads are going to get the treatment.
I wouldn't have said that if the squats didn't get Halls of the Ancients. I genuinely would have thought it would have been perhaps a second Secundus box, or a Secundus style box, where maybe we saw one of the other house gangs getting their sort of tech hunter treatment. But then when Halls
Well,
of the Ancients was announced, that changed it. I was just like, no, it's got to be nomads.
Yeah, and look, I mean, not taking away anything from this release so far, but this gets me really excited that we're going to see a lot of this happen. Like, you know, there's potentially this is going to happen for the Enforcers as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're going to get a bit more depth and detail.
Enforcers, Corpse Grinder cultists, Gene Stealer cultists.
Yeah.
I know it might be soon, but even Malstrains, I'd love to see some change to Malstrains.
Yeah.
Then we've still... Once I think those are done, I think then we're going to get back to the Aranthian succession. Because all of this is sort of happening as sort of a... Everything's chilled out for a minute. Let's build up our forces, and let's bring this to a head, because anyone who's listened to our Aranthian succession episodes knows at the end of that, when everything went down, a call went out literally across the system, across the sector, saying that the Aranthians had returned, and ancient enemies of the Aranthians were alerted by this alarm, and have basically said, it's back, it's bad.
You're like we're gonna mobilize our forces as well and start kicking some teeth. But look, let's get into the nomads proper, I guess. So
these are the Shadar hunters, and
they hunt for Shadar.
They hunt Shadars,
right.
But they ambush unwary travellers with scavenged weapons fashioned from the gigantic mutant insects they raise as mounts. Shadar hunters are bad news for those who trespass on Ashwaste nomad territory. And just looking at them, like, all these weapons are made of discarded pieces of chitin. Like, you look at them, and the weapons are all it's all close combat. If you notice, like, it's all spears, it's whips, it is
true.
It's claws, it's knives. Like, they genuinely seem to be wanting to get up there and get up close, much like those Emperor's children.
What I love about this though is there's enough of a change of the aesthetic from the current nomads.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? These really look like the hunters, and they're almost like a separate class to the current nomads.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? And beautiful miniatures, don't get me wrong. Like, that first boy that we see is just stunning. Obviously not the current image we have up, but the first one where he's got the claw, like, inbuilt into almost like a punchy power claw thing. Oh yeah, if you can get it back, just
absolutely.
What an absolute killer. I can't wait to see the 360 of him. Actually, I can't wait to see the 360 of all of these miniatures.
Yeah.
Because they just look like they've got so much going on. And even, sorry, can you just go to our second image?
That one there?
Yes. What are those green bauble things? To me, they've got to be something.
They're poisoned, like they remind me of the Skaven poison wind globidia globes.
Yeah.
I reckon they might be venom or poison from some of the insects that the nomads sort of train and keep as pets. Like, I love it. But I love the fact they're all wearing trophies. Like, that big boy right there, he's almost got like a giant chitinous skull with horns as his back piece.
Because they're hunters as well. Like, that's what it says. So I think the idea is, for me, is that they're hunters of, people coming out of the hives, but also of some big gribblies and nasties out in the hive as well.
Yes.
Out in the ashways. So.
Yes.
But I'm totally enamoured with all of these. As I said, I cannot wait to get the 360 or just to even look at the kits. I think it's going to be something really, really cool, and it's going to help expand the range, not just for the nomads, but also for other gangs to be able to steal bits and pieces from and go, I want this and I want that, and I've got a gang that's forming out in the ash wastes, so these are going to be the core of what I use. Do you know what I mean?
A couple of head swaps and they are perfect Cawdor.
Yeah.
They're ash waste Cawdor.
Ashways Cawdor. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And
move a few guns around.
They come in a box of 6, which is weird seeing as we just talked a lot about Slanesh.
So basically the nomads are a Slaanesh cult. All right,
Perfect.
I see what you're doing. Yeah.
The box actually comes with 10 miniatures, because they also come with these, the Arthramite spine worms, which are just horrible insect monsters. They burrow through dunes, solid rock, and armor alike, and when their jaws are locked, they won't be separated without their pound of flesh. And coupled with the anticoagulant properties of their saliva, a single bite is a death sentence.
Yeah, righto.
Everyone
Okay,
knows
cool.
I love me a gribbly beast,
Yeah.
and these beasts look the gribbliest. So I need 20 of them. I want I want everyone to have them. I will add them to my horde of rats and turn them into new ratty boys,
Oh, yeah, right.
Done.
Absolutely.
which I
Yeah.
still haven't painted.
Mate, you got contrast paints. Just spray them white.
No, no.
No, okay.
No.
Oh, you want to paint each individual fur, do you?
Each individual
Okay.
piece of fur.
Yeah, right, cool.
And as we are always seeing with the House of treatment, we're also getting an upgrade kit for the Nomads. We're getting heavy blasters, scavenge stub guns and auto guns, venom casters, blast carbines, and more. We've got armor plates there and what looks like sort of chitinous armor. We've got obviously
Am
a
I-
bunch of heads.
Am I saying a web pistol? Is that, or is that the wrong weapon?
No, on the top right, the second one down.
Yeah.
No, I think
yeah.
that's a blast pistol.
Oh, okay, right. Speaking of weapons in there, the paint job on that little power claw thingy
Oh, it's
is
phenomenal.
supreme. The way those hazard stripes are done, well done, sir.
Yep.
Whoever did that, that is just right on the money.
But how good's
Absolutely
that
perfect.
sword? How cool
Yeah,
is that
yeah.
nomad sword?
It's definitely like a reworked piece of metal.
Yeah.
That like an old bit of rebar or I don't know, some reinforcing metal. They've gone, that's swordy like. Cool, we're gonna take it.
I'm gonna go
They're
kill
sword-
someone with that.
Yeah, exactly. So when I looked at this upgrade kit, I looked at the heads sort of first and foremost because the guns I was like, oh yeah, they're cool, but they're when you start to look at the guns, you start to think, okay, how does that manufacture into my gang list and whatever the case might be. But the heads are very very much like, how do I want my miniature to look? And my brother actually had an amazing suggestion. He's like, oh, Ash Waste Nomads, they're pretty much like Nurgle cultists. I was like, oh, you absolute monster. Like, yes.
You have
Bang
to
on.
do big,
So,
big chunky rebreathers and like cables coming out to.
yeah, but they're Nurgle cultists who haven't gone full ball,
Haven't
like
gotten the disease
tendrils.
yet.
Haven't been diseased out, but they know they worship the fly god. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
And then I started thinking of like Ash-faced nomads out there seeing their brothers and sisters and so forth being reanimated and thinking to themselves, oh, we need to pray to whatever deity this is, and
Okay.
they begin to go down that pathway of making themselves more Negalic, I guess, if that's a word.
No, okay,
But-
we've invented enough words in this show. We can invent some more.
We can invent some more, yeah. But look, everything I'm seeing in this kit, the upgrade kit, the little bug wormy things, the hunters, it is so good to see, and I can't wait to see this stuff on the tabletop as well. But most importantly, is that new book, man. Like, we are going to get some depth, some
I'm so
history.
excited.
What I love is when you couple this with the new squat book, right? We've got so much history, untold history coming to us about Necromunda. Stuff that had been dabbled in and a few bits here and there, and a lot of it outdated. So now we're starting to get this, it's modernized, it fits in with the current law, the current canon, and it's locked in. And we're
Yep.
not going to see this change anytime soon. So, I mean, for our podcast, we're going to have some wonderful episodes to go through. That we're just going to be able to dive headlong into these things. And, we'll give you a 10-hour episode. We won't. But
We won't. We
we'll
can't
threat-
do a 10
we'll
hour
threaten you.
episode. Or can we? No, we can't.
can we?
We can't. Or
The
can
Goliaths
we?
got pretty close.
Or can we? Was Goliath?
Probably will.
I swear our longest episode was one of the events in succession.
No, I thought Goliath was 8.5 hours.
It might have been.
Yeah, what a monster. Oh,
Yeah.
talking way too much about big muscly guys.
Yes.
Righto.
But speaking of monsters, how about a monster of a terrain piece? You like that?
Yes. A beautiful segue. I wish I had that skill.
Yeah, this bad boy here is the Thatos Pattern Fortified Hab module. So it is basically the existing Hab module kit with armor plating, balconies, a lookout tower, and you might notice grenade launchers, heavy stubbers, ammunition, barricades. It is a slice of hell with a slice of yes. And I look at this and I immediately think I need like 2 of these and then 4 of the Gang Fortress box, and I would effectively make that fortress that they had in Starship Troopers.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you use. It's pretty much like a drop-in fortress.
Yes.
If you drop it in, it's a temporary thing, but it is bristling with guns.
Yes.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
that thing gets dropped in and just, your bad zone enforcers are occupying it, or your mercenary bands, maybe the Spirers have organised it to be dropped, to be using it as a home base while they go out and hunt in the Secundan Expanse.
That's what I see it as. Yeah. So not necessarily spies. First thing, instinctively, I thought this is something that the enforcers are dropping in. They're like, you know what? We've had enough of what's going on in this particular zone. Where they send out their crews, their combat engineers, whatever the case might be, and they start setting up these. They set up their own little bastion, or what do they call them? The precinct house. But it's like a temporary precinct house.
Yes.
And they're like, if you want to enter, by all means, come and have a go if you think you're hard enough. Do you know what I mean? So it's just like you will eat all manner of grenade. You will eat all the heavy stubber rounds that we have. And if you get through after that, well, respect to you. You've still got to take on the enforcers behind the walls.
Perfect.
So this I am absolutely in love with this terrain piece because it brings that angry, violent Imperium to the ash wastes. Do you know what I mean? Like, we see it a lot in 40k with things bristling with guns and so forth. We don't probably see it as much in Necromunda because it's more like a, it's almost like a civilian street.
Yes.
Whereas this is something like the PDF would be deploying. This is something that House Grime would be throwing out into the desert and just saying, we're setting up a base station here.
Yep.
We're going to be recruiting from X, Y, and Z territories.
That's perfect. House Grime have dropped it down to train their recently recruited PDF regiment, and the nobles are staying in this, or the officers are staying in this, while they watch their recruits battle it out against a local scavenge tribe. Perfect.
Yep. Exactly. And I'm in love with this. I've already got the Habs from the Ash Waste box, so I kind of want one of these as like I've got them sort of half put together, and I'm sort of thankful I haven't completed it because now I see it as like a little Hab town with this as like, as you mentioned there, maybe it's like the leader's Hab. Do you know what I mean? So that's where they sleep. That's where they take it. Maybe I'll attach another Hab to it, which is armoured up.
Yeah, do it like the Ewok village from Return of the Jedi, where you got the chieftain's Hab here, and then it sort of comes down to the next one, which comes down to the next one, which comes down to the next one, and then down to the ground.
Yeah,
like you got to battle your way through every other Hab to get to the chief,
to the bosses,
the enforcer captain.
I can't wait to get my dirty paws on that. But there's also something else I want to get my dirty paws on as well, and that is the ruined Underhive sector box.
Yes, so different kind of battling, and instead of trying to climb up, you are climbing down into Hive Secundus, into the ruined Zone Mortalis, and this is 3 of the ruined Zone Mortalis boxes in a single box. And as someone who is in the process of building a big terrain board, like yourself, I think we're both doing a 4x4, I believe.
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
This is definitely going to help both of us basically get our hands on a lot of terrain very quickly.
Yeah, look, I think that's pretty much the premise of this box is
Yeah.
if you want to get something and you want to smash it out real quick, this is the box for you. Grab
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to get all your nasty gripplies. And you could almost have it like, this doesn't necessarily have to be part of Hive Secundus. This could be, the wrong side of the tracks.
Yeah.
Where the gangs that come from over there, they're a little bit less well maintained. They've got poorer armor. They've got all their weapons are reclaimed, but they are still gangs, and we still have to be wary of them. But sometimes we go forays in there to go capture people or items or equipment that has been left there, or people who have tried to flee to the wrong side of the tracks, as it is. Yeah.
No, I love it. Once again, I'm definitely going to be wanting to get this to sort of do the more damage section of my board. The area more exposed to the elements, and being able to get my hands on sort of 3 boxes of that Secundan terrain at the same time is going to be a huge benefit. And
definitely.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah, that's the review.
Everything from the LVO.
Yeah, I'm going to say I think that went quite well.
What's your favourite thing? Ignoring the Necromundan stuff, the specific Necromundan stuff.
Yeah.
What is your favourite thing that was announced?
Do you know what? I really am stuck on the Death Guard Lord of Poxes. I just love the miniature.
Yep.
There's just something about it. It's that robe that's like the cloak. That's draped over. It just looks worn. It looks tattered. This person, this space marine, this traitor looks like he's been around for 10,000 years, and it's beautiful miniature. And as I said, it's not quite the same aesthetic as the other GW stuff. As the other Death Guard stuff. So I kind of like that feel as well. So yeah, I'm very much down for seeing this miniature within my Death Guard army, and maybe a plague corrupted Ogren at some stage. So yeah, that's by far my favourite, and I think it's the sword that wins it for me. It's a bit ridiculous. It sort of doesn't make sense, but yeah.
It does make sense. It's ridiculously large and rusted, and you can imagine, because Death Guard are so slow and ponderous, he'd pull it out and he'd be like, "Ugh." And he might not hit you every time, but when he does, you are having a bad day.
Yeah, exactly. So that's mine. Have you got a favourite?
Him.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Right, we're on the same page.
I think he is phenomenal. I will be getting one for my Iron Warriors.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yep. And there's one other detail that I just only noticed before when we were chatting, and I forgot to bring it up. But his little 3-pronged symbol on his left shoulder pad is actually missing one of the plates, which is beautiful. Like, it's just... These are the little details.
Yeah, it is.
That I fall in love with on miniatures. Just something so simple like that. I just go, thank you very much. Whoever did that, thank you for doing that. Like, it made the miniature feel so much better. And
it's come off in combat and he's just not noticed.
Yeah. It doesn't need to. He's a lord of poxes. He doesn't care. He's all about spreading the pox. Yeah. So. I think it was been a great reveal. I think there's so much good stuff come out of it. And so much good stuff that we can use for Necromunda. So much good stuff that I think there's just some really beautiful miniatures that have come out from this. And for me, the whole Emperor's Children set is on the money. Absolutely on the money.
It's going to be very dangerous for me when that comes out, because I don't want to start another Chaos Space Marine army. I have like 4 of them already. But I can see myself grabbing a few of those Emperor's Children, especially the ones that used to be the Palatine Blades.
Oh yeah. The shiny blades.
Yeah.
Yes, I know what they're called. Yes.
Them and running them as like Red Corsair allies for my Iron Warriors kill team.
Oh,
Mark and
yeah.
Slanesh, paint them up as Red Corsairs and that sort of thing.
Yeah, that would
Because they look
really,
very
really cool.
piratical. You know what I mean?
Yes. I think
Yeah.
they're called flawless blades. Yes, the flawless blades. Maybe I'm wrong.
I'll look it up because we definitely should know.
I should know.
We literally just talked about it. They are the Flawless Blades. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
I was
Well
on
done,
the
mate.
money.
The Flawless
I got
Blades,
one.
I see them as just ideal pirates. And I'll definitely, I reckon I'll get some of them and do them up as allies for my Iron Warriors.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
And especially with that Red Corsair tanked to them as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
So, like, you need to, like, you've already got the black armor in there, you need to incorporate a little bit of red, but you've got to also, really emphasize the fact that they're Slanesh devoted. So, you don't necessarily have to go heavy-handed pink.
Animal
but you
skins and
beautiful.
flayed
Okay.
skin cloaks and that sort of thing. Just,
Yeah.
perfect.
Great stuff. Yeah, right.
Well,
All right. Well, that is a wrap for the LVO for us. You
Yeah.
will hear from us again when there is another miniature release or another Necromunda centric release, or actually, do you know what? When we feel like it.
I think we have to get back to work soon. We're actually on break from podcasting and stuff this month. And
really, really good job. It has
doing
taken
really
a
well.
break. Yeah.
At the end of this month, I think we get back into it. We probably should talk about that at some point, and maybe go back to podcasting.
Yeah.
But until then, there might be another release or announcement this week. We can do like a wrap up at the end of the month, I guess.
I think that might be the way to go. We're still feeling this out as much as as best we can. We're just getting a vibe for how it is. So if you've got any feedback, criticism, comments, whatever the case might be, just leave it in our comments, and we are sure to
there
read
was
all
one
of them.
thing we're supposed to, apparently at the beginning of each video we're supposed to say something along the lines of
I saw that.
if you like what you see, don't forget to like and follow our comment and subscribe.
I
really got to start watching more YouTube videos to sort of see what other people are saying. Comment and and subscribe.
Comment, like, subscribe. Yes.
Comment, like, and subscribe. Do those. And then follow us on your preferred podcast platform and
Instagram.
all that
Instagram
stuff.
Yeah.
You guys know what to do. Just go do that.
Yeah, and we've talked enough as it is anyway.
Yeah.
So
This was going to be a quick episode. Tired.
what were we aiming for? Half an hour, weren't we?
Half an hour.
Really.
We've done 3 of those. So, yeah. In our defense, it's not our fault. It's Games Workshop's fault for releasing or announcing all these sick miniatures.
Yeah.
We're victims.
Yeah, we're the victims.
We're
Release
the
some
victims.
crap ones. We won't talk about them.
Release bad ones.
Yeah.
Really?
All right.
I don't know. Don't do that. All right. I'm done. You done?
I'm done. See you, boss.
Bye, Scummers.